Join us as we dive into the wildest true stories behind iconic movie scenes and see if you can guess which ones are real and which ones are totally made up. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating connection between cinema and reality, revealing how extraordinary true events sparked unforgettable movie moments. From inspiring feats of survival to the darker aspects of human nature, we'll cover some of the most shocking real-life events that influenced the world of film. We've all watched movies that claim to be based on a true story, but have you ever wondered just how much of it is really true? As much as we enjoy these stories, sometimes the reality behind these iconic scenes is even more jaw-dropping than what's portrayed on the big screen. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed as we take a deeper dive into the crazy true stories behind some of your favorite films. The Pursuit of Happiness, from restroom to boardroom.
Man, I got two questions for you. What do you do and how do you do it?
I'm a stockbroker.
Stockbroker. Oh. Hey,
Let's start with a tearjerker. The Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith's portrayal of Chris Gardner in this film had audiences reaching for tissues, especially during that gut-wrenching scene where Gardner and his young son are forced to spend the night in a public restroom. The desperation and heartbreak of that moment is palpable, but what makes it even more powerful is knowing that this wasn't just fiction. This scene was lifted straight from Chris Gardner's real-life story. In the early 1980s, Gardner was a homeless single father struggling to make ends meet while pursuing his dream of becoming a stockbroker. He faced incredible odds, including spending nights in train station bathrooms and homeless shelters, all while caring for his young son. Gardner's determination and resilience paid off, and he eventually landed a position at a prestigious brokerage firm, leading to the successful career he has today. The film captures this emotional journey almost perfectly, making it one of the most touching true stories adapted for the big screen. The Revenant, the real Hugh Glass. In The Revenant, Leonardo DiCaprio's Oscar-winning performance as Hugh Glass took audiences on a harrowing journey of survival against impossible odds. The most gripping moment? The bear attack, which many believed was too brutal to be true. But, believe it or not, Hugh Glass was a real fur trapper, and in 1823, he did survive a violent bear mauling. Left for dead by his companions, Glass managed to trek over 200 miles through the wilderness with no supplies or weapons. Driven by a desire for revenge, the film does take some creative liberties, such as showing Glass fighting the bear with his bare hands. In reality, the injuries were so severe that Glass could barely move. His strength and survival instincts helped him navigate the treacherous landscape, eating whatever he could find and setting his own broken bones. His true story is almost too incredible to believe, and it's no wonder that it inspired such a riveting film. Schindler's List, Oskar Schindler's bravery.
It was you. You committed this crime.
No, sir.
But you know who, though?
Yes.
Who?
Few films capture the horrors of the Holocaust as powerfully as Schindler's List. This film tells the story of Oskar Schindler, a German businessman who risked everything to save over 1,200 Jews from certain death. The scene where Schindler, portrayed by Liam Neeson, is overcome with guilt and emotion as he realizes he could have saved more lives is one of the most unforgettable in film history. What's even more striking is how close this scene is to reality. Schindler's genuine sorrow and his drive to do more were well documented by those who knew him. While some details were altered for dramatic effect, the essence of his story remains true. Schindler spent his entire fortune bribing Nazi officials and buying provisions for his workers, leaving him penniless by the end of the war. His selflessness and moral courage make his story one of the most inspiring true tales ever brought to film. Goodfellas, the Lufthansa heist, for crime movie lovers.
Good evening. December 11th may go down as the day of the biggest robbery in our country's history, and it happened right here in New York. Somewhere between $3 and $5 million in cash.
Goodfellas is a masterpiece. One of the most memorable scenes in the film is the depiction of the Lufthansa heist, a daring robbery that netted over $5 million in cash and $875,000 in jewels. What's truly mind-blowing is that the heist was a real event. In 1978, a gang led by mobster Jimmy Burke, portrayed as Jimmy Conway by Robert De Niro, carried out the robbery at JFK Airport. The film captures the heist's cold, calculated nature, but what it doesn't show is the aftermath. Paranoia set in, and the gang members began turning on each other. Many of them were murdered in the months following the heist, ensuring that the loot was never recovered. The real-life drama that followed was just as intense as what was depicted on screen, solidifying Goodfellas as one of the greatest crime movies ever made. The Imitation Game, cracking the Enigma code.
And you don't think that qualifies you as a certified prodigy?
Well, Newton discovered binomial theorem aged 22. Einstein wrote 4 papers that changed the world by the age of 26.
The Imitation Game tells the story of Alan Turing, the brilliant mathematician who cracked the German Enigma code during World War II, changing the course of history. The film shows Turing as a socially awkward genius who struggles to connect with those around him, which is true to some extent. The heartbreaking reality, however, is how Turing's contributions were overshadowed by the persecution he faced for his sexuality. After the war, he was prosecuted for homosexuality, a crime in Britain at the time, and chemically castrated. Turing's contributions to the war effort remained classified for decades, and he died under tragic circumstances, believed to have taken his own life. The film gives us a glimpse into Turing's troubled yet brilliant mind, but his story is one of both triumph and tragedy that resonates even more deeply when you know the real history. The Exorcist, a real-life possession.
You out! Unclean spirit!
Shove it up your ass!
In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ! It is He who commands you!
Few horror movies have the same cultural impact as The Exorcist, with its terrifying tale of demonic possession. But did you know that the story was based on a real-life exorcism? In 1949, a young boy referred to as Roland Doe allegedly underwent a series of exorcisms conducted by a group of priests after showing signs of possession, such as speaking in strange languages and violent outbursts. While many details remain shrouded in mystery and skepticism, the events inspired author William Peter Blatty to write The Exorcist, which was later adapted into the famous film. Whether or not you believe in the supernatural, the true story behind The Exorcist adds an extra layer of fear to this already spine-chilling classic. Catch me if you can. The con man extraordinaire.
I always sub for Roberto. Excuse me, why aren't you reading? Jewels on...
I'll never come back to Bellamy Jefferson again. You tell them not to call me. What do they think? It's easy for a woman my age and all the money that it costs to travel like that?
Steven Spielberg's Catch Me If You Can tells the story of Frank Abagnale Jr., a master con artist who, before the age of 19, successfully posed as a Pan Am pilot, a doctor, and a lawyer, all while cashing millions of dollars in fraudulent checks. Played by Leonardo DiCaprio, Abagnale's exploits in the film seem too wild to be true. But in reality, Abagnale's criminal career was even more astonishing. For years, Abagnale eluded the authorities using his charm, intelligence, and a series of disguises. His story may seem like a thrilling work of fiction, but the truth is even more bizarre. After serving prison time, Abagnale went on to work for the FBI, using his expertise to help catch other fraudsters. His real-life journey from criminal mastermind to law enforcement advisor is one of the most fascinating transformations ever captured on film. A Beautiful Mind, the story of John Nash.
You leave her out of this.
Who are you talking to?
It's not her fault.
John.
This movie is an emotional biographical drama that depicts the life of John Nash, a mathematical genius struggling with schizophrenia. The film shows Nash's descent into paranoia and his eventual triumph over his mental illness, earning him the A Beautiful Mind, the story of John Nash. This movie is an emotional biographical drama that depicts the life of John Nash, a mathematical genius struggling with schizophrenia. The film shows Nash's descent into paranoia and his eventual triumph over his mental illness, earning him the Nobel Prize in economics. While some events are dramatized, the essence of Nash's life story is accurate. Nash's battle with schizophrenia caused immense turmoil in his personal and professional life, yet he managed to make groundbreaking contributions to game theory, which are still influential today. His story is not only a testament to the power of the human mind, but also an inspiring account of perseverance in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. More unbelievable, but true movie moments. American Sniper.
You got eyes on this? Can you confirm?
Negative. Your call.
fry you.
The intense rooftop shootout scenes featuring Chris Kyle, portrayed by Bradley Cooper, were inspired by the real-life experiences of Kyle, the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history. While some scenes were dramatized, many of the combat situations in Iraq were based on Kyle's harrowing deployments. Apollo 13.
Flight, we have loss of radio contact.
Econ, what's your data telling you?
It's reading a quadruple failure. That can't happen. It's got to be instrumentation.
The ship's bleeding to death.
This rate, we're gonna skip right.
When Tom Hanks utters the famous line, "Houston, we have a problem," it's based on real events that unfolded during the 1970 Apollo 13 mission. After an oxygen tank exploded, the astronauts faced a life-or-death struggle to return to Earth safely. The film's suspense and tension closely mirror the true story's drama, making it one of the most accurate space films ever made. Moneyball.
You can't deny his offensive output. He can play. And we need people that can play.
This sports drama, starring Brad Pitt as Billy Beane, tells the story of how data analytics changed the way baseball teams are managed. It's based on real events that took place in the early 2000s, when the Oakland Athletics used a data-driven approach to build a competitive team on a tight budget. While some characters were fictionalized, the film's portrayal of Beane's innovative strategy is mostly true to life. So, there you have it, some of the most iconic movie scenes inspired by crazy, unbelievable true stories. From harrowing tales of survival like The Revenant to complex narratives of bravery and sacrifice like Schindler's List, these films remind us of the incredible events that happen in real life. Cinema has the power to bring these stories to the forefront, blending fact with fiction in a way that not only entertains but also inspires and educates. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.